Netflix and all the other platforms has opened the vision about Colombia to be like a place where you can get like hookers, drugs. A part of that is real. It is happening. But there's a huge other perspective of Colombia, and that they don't show in Netflix or other platforms.
G'day and welcome back. Today I have another expat interview for you, but this one has a bit of a different twist to it. So far, most of the people that I've interviewed on this channel are from the US. Today's guest is from Chile. He's an entrepreneur with a family who moved here 3 years ago. And in this video, I'm going to be asking him about his motivation for leaving Chile. And I'm also going to ask him about his top 3 pros and cons when it comes to living in the city of Medellin. All right, Seb, thanks for being on today, bro. First of all, can you just tell us a little bit about your country? Because you're from Chile, but I can guarantee it that a lot of people watching this video never even heard of your country. And even if they've heard of your country, they got no idea what happens over there.
Chile is a beautiful place. It's at the south of South America. If you see the map, it's like a really long and thin country, and it's a beautiful place to go there. I totally recommend it. You have the mountains and the sea like really close, and at the same time, I think it's one of the most developed countries in South America in terms of like education, health, transport, government. Like it has a lot of advancement in terms of social and economic development if you compare it to other countries in Latin America.
What's the main differences between Chile and Colombia, you would say?
The critical difference for me is the people, like the culture, how people treat each other, how they like greet you, how you make friends with other people. It's totally different. Even though I have like one of my closest friends in Chile, in general terms, people is more cold. Of course, I'm talking only about Santiago, the capital. If you live in Santiago, where is the place that you have to live if you want to make business, people is, from my perspective, is a little bit angry, more worried, more stressed. When you walk on the streets or when you drive a car, like people is really angry. And if you see like the statistics, like there's a lot of depressed people in Chile, and like in terms of like alcohol levels, Chile is one of the highest. In my perspective, since like I'm a really like open guy, like I want to get to know new people. I want to get to know like new experiences, like new cultures. And for me, Chile, at the time I left Chile, I was looking for a new culture.
I wanted to get you on this interview because you're kind of a different type of demographic that comes here. First of all, you're not an American, which is probably most of the people in expats that come to Medellin. You're a Latino from Chile, and also you have a young family. You're a married guy and you have a son. You were living in Peru. Obviously, that's where you met your wife. How did you guys come to the decision to move to Medellin?
I wanted to move into a more developed country. Miraflores in Lima is great, but if you go out of Miraflores or San Isidro, you see like really strong differences in like social and economic, and it's like radical. And at the same time, I wanted to move into like a place where I could have more things to do in terms of culture, in terms of business, in terms of like networking. In Lima wasn't the place to do that at the moment that I was there. The first time I came to Medellin, I felt in love with Medellin, the streets, the people, like a mixture of like the Latin American culture in a really well-developed city. You have like many things to do, many opportunities. The cost of living, for example, if you compare it to Chile, way lower here. I think it must be like 15%, or even though in some stuff like 20%. My company is located in Chile, and my salary, I receive it from Chile. So it's really convenient for me to live in Medellin with a salary that comes from another country that has higher income.
One thing I've always wondered is, you've probably seen on social media, most people who don't know anything about Medellin, they basically are ignorant people and they just think it's drugs and danger. Where I'm from, whenever I tell someone, one of my friends from Australia, that I'm in Colombia, they're always like, yeah, drugs, blah, blah, blah. Same with many people I see from the US. What about people in Chile? When you tell your friends, hey, I'm in Colombia, what do they think about Colombia?
I think it's kind of the same image, because like Netflix and all the other platforms has opened the vision about Colombia to be like a place where you can get like hookers and drugs. A part of that is real. It is happening. But there's a huge other perspective of Colombia where there's a really nice place to live in, like in terms of schools, places to go, parks, cultural activities, and that they don't show in Netflix or other platforms. So I think that all of the people that in general outside of Colombia has the same image that Pablo Escobar is living here and the city is controlled by Pablo Escobar and you can get robbed by motorcycles. But I think right now, like Medellin in particular is safer, way safer than Chile, for example. I've seen like extreme cases in Chile right now these past 2 years where people get robbed, like they rob their car. And in Medellin, I can go like at whatever hour walking. I can go to every place with my kid. Nothing has ever happened to me or my family or my friends.
So you said that basically you're not worried at all about safety here. Why do you think nothing has happened to you?
It's the places that you go. I have been to like many places here in Medellin. Of course, I haven't gone to pay for hookers, for example. Yeah, which is like the most cases that people get robbed. In any place you can get robbed and bad things can happen, but if you go to the right places, like as a regular guy, like I go to restaurants, cinema, theater, like concerts, and nothing has ever happened.
By the way, if you're interested in moving to Medellin, click the link in the description. We have a free ebook that's going to teach you everything you need to know to make the move. So click the link in the description and you can download that right now. So let's move on from that, and now let's talk about your biggest 3 pros and cons of living here in Medellin. Can you tell us the pros first? What do you love most about living in this city?
For me, like the first pro, it's like the quality of life that you can get here in Medellin. Like the apartment, the house you can get, the people you can get to meet, the places you can get to go, the activities. That's related to the price that you pay for the quality of life that you want to have. Right now, like I live in a 300 square meters apartment.
That's huge.
It's really big.
In which part of the city?
In El Poblado. I pay like 8,000 millions? No, 8 millions. 8 millions.
So you spend like $2,000?
Yeah, around that, yeah.
So that's your first pro. What's the second pro that you really love about living here?
The connections that you can have with other people from other countries. In the past years, like I've made connections with people, of course, from Chile, from Peru, from Colombia, of course, from the US, from Netherlands. The people that comes from other countries to stay here has a different mentality than the people that just comes to spend the weekend here. As I've seen, it's people that has a similar mindset like I have in terms of personal development, growing companies, wanting to do more with their lives. That's why they left their country in order to like look for something else, because they were stagnated in some way in their country.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people doing some great things in business here, and also very focused on making strong connections and growing personal development as well, which I really like also. What about the third pro? Be careful because you've already used up 2, so you only got 1 choice left. What are you going to choose?
The first one was quality of life. The second was like connections. And the third, I was living in Peru, and if someone from Peru is seeing this, like Miraflores, San Isidro, Barranco, these are like amazing districts. But if you go outside there, you see a lot of poverty. You see a lot of like places underdeveloped. The streets, the roads, like if you want to go to the countryside, you have to like drive like, I don't know, like an hour and a half. But if you move around Medellin, for example, you can be in 20, 30 minutes in the countryside. I just went to drove 4 hours to a place called Manizales here like in Antioquia. And it was a really beautiful place. Like the road was amazing. I didn't have any problems like the driving there. It's really cool to like almost live in the jungle with a city inside of it. For me, that's incredible.
That's some pretty awesome pros. We're going to go with 3 cons as well. So give me con number 1 in no particular order, but just something that kind of irritates you or you don't like about living here.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind that is not like a priority is that people is really slow here in Colombia in terms of service.
That's not a Latino thing. I thought all Latinos were just slow.
They are super fast in Chile, yeah.
Mind you, I've never been to like South America, Chile, Uruguay, Argentina, I haven't been there, but I've been in all Central America and, northern part of South America. Slow as hell.
Yeah, no. In Chile, people is super fast, but they are angry. For example, in Chile, if you take too much time to review the menu, like they start to get angry at you. But I think that's one of the first like negative things that I see in Colombia, because I'm used to like a fast attention, and I'm always like hoping that everything moves faster. Also because I'm an entrepreneur, I want things to move like quickly.
But have you been to the other cities in Colombia, like in the north?
No.
Because I would say Medellin, in terms of things moving fast, is one of the fastest moving cities in Colombia. If you go to the coast, you're not gonna like that. You think this is slow. Wait till you see how it moves over there.
The other thing might be related to the food quality. Even though there are amazing restaurants here, like in terms of the presentations, the architecture, interior design, beautiful places, amazing views. The food is not that great in my perspective, since I come from Peru. In Peru, you can go to the cheapest place and it's an amazing experience. Once we moved to Medellin, like it was like we were like really depressed for that. In a way, it looks amazing, it looks beautiful, but when you eat it, it doesn't have like the flavor that I would want to taste. And that's related, of course, to the culture. It's a different taste that they have here.
So number 2 is food. Number 1 was very slow service. What's number 3?
Yeah. Even though Medellin is like really diverse city, you have like many things to do, many places to go. It's not the capital city of the country. So when it's not the capital city, not all of the things happen here in terms of concerts, in terms of other activities, even more in terms of business. You have like in a month maybe like 10 conferences in Bogota, and maybe you can have like 1 or 2 here in Medellin.
So how long have you been in Medellin, by the way, Sebastian?
Yeah, I think right now I have been like 3.5 years.
Judging by your time here and meeting a lot of foreigners, expats, whatever, who would you think is the perfect type of person, foreigner, that would love life in Medellin?
You have to have an open mind about moving to a different place. Many people that might be closed-minded might be scared about the security, the drugs, the whole prejudice about Colombia. So you have to have an initial open perspective about coming to Colombia, or maybe be open to try it, at least for a weekend, for vacations. You're gonna see that it's an amazing place to come with your family and try like a different experience